All right, guys. So thank you very much for getting on our call tonight. I'm really excited for Allison to talk to you guys tonight. She is an Emerald coach on Team Fierce Ambition. She is going to be speaking about how to reignite the fire after being ready to throw in the towel. And when I tell you she was ready to throw in the towel, she was ready. She called me up and said that I gotta do something. I don't know if this is for me. I'm not sure. I gotta reevaluate, and we'll see where I am, in a couple weeks. And I thought I was definitely losing her as a coach. So when she relit her flame and she came back stronger than ever, I was very happy and very excited. So I'm excited to hear all about her story and how she made that happen. So I give to you Allison Sorokin.
Hi guys. How's everybody doing? I can't hear you anyway. So, so my name is Allison. I'm really happy to be here tonight. So, a couple things, a little bit about me. I own another business called First Love Pet Care. It's a pet sitting business, and I'm also a yoga teacher. So I've got a lot going on as far as my own stuff, my own businesses going on. So when I was thinking about this topic, even though it applies to Beachbody, it's been 5 years that I've had this pet sitting business where I was ready to throw in the towel. I can't even tell you how many times, where I would come home crying my eyes out to my husband and say, I just can't do this anymore. And I was thinking about what has kept me on, and it's never been about money for me. And same thing with Beachbody. Let me back this up for 1 second. Time has always been an issue for me. It's been my nemesis since day one of my existence. I just have never been a patient person. I've always been an all or nothing person. So when I don't feel success, and it's not even about like monetary success or, when I don't feel it in myself, then it's time for me to just move on. I just want to let go and just stop feeling this ickiness and just go on. So one of the things that every time I've ever thought about quitting, I think to myself, okay, so I'm ready to let this go. I'm ready to go, right? Something in the back of my head tells me, if you're ready to let this go, if you're ready to move on from this, let's do something huge before you go. Like at the times where with the pet sitting, I was ready to, I just had too much going on. Like, why am I afraid to hire people? And it was, well, you're ready to walk away from it as it is. So just hire those freaking people and let it go. Beachbody was, I was trying to do too much at once. I was expecting a lot from myself. And I wasn't managing my time properly. I just felt like I wasn't managing things properly. And so what I did was I took a step back. Uh-oh. Is everybody getting that echo? Oh, fuck.
Maybe because of me.
If there's someone on the phone, mute your phone. Hello? Okay. So a couple things. So the bottom line is this. When you're ready to say, fuck this, and throw in the towel, here are the things to think about. And I want you guys to all think about this for 1 minute. 3 fears of yours with regard to Beachbody. If you have a pen and paper, write it down. What are 3 fears that you have when it comes to Beachbody? And then write next to each one, once you have all 3, the ones like 1, 2, and 3. 1 being the one that comes up the most, 2 being, obviously second in line, and then number 3. So once we can recognize those fears, if you've ever heard fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real, these are things that are continually going to come up. They're not going to go away, not even with success, not even with all the coaches in the world and all the accolades, and it's like an ingrained. And once we can find a way to accept them, when they come up, it's much easier for us to look at things more with a different perception. So for example, this thing kept coming up to me like I want to throw in the towel, but I step back, I take a breath, and then I reapproach it with a fresh perspective. I never make a decision. And take action on emotion, because that is the first way to regret something. And that's actually a bigger fear for me than anything, is regret. So I have like a list of things that have really, and I'm just going to run through them, and then I'll talk about each of them. That has really been key for me not giving up. I used to be an all or nothing person. So patience is not a big quality that I consider myself having, but patience has been a big one. Time, consistency, the approach. I have backup and refocus, silence and meditation, personal development. Okay, so we're going to go back over these things. So patience. This is like the hardest thing, but one of the things, like when you're going from point A to point B, right? The place in the middle is the patience part. That's the process. And I say this like, right now I'm a yoga teacher, so I try to like connect with nature a lot when I talk to my students. And right now, in this time of year, there's germination going on in the ground, right? So we've got the ground starting to defrost, and we've got these seeds that were blowing around from the fall, and now is germination. This whole winter is time where things are starting to like to get anyway, germination. From now until the time that things start to bloom, there's this time period where the seeds are starting to, what's the word I'm looking for? What was it? Cultivate their potential. Okay, so there's a time period, and that doesn't mean that. So there's a time period between starting something and wherever point B you're going, where you need to start like really cultivating things, and that's the process. That's the patience that we need to have. That time of cultivation, and unfortunately, in our society, that's not always easy, because we are in a place where things are always tangible. Consistency, you guys know this, the 3 vital behaviors, but back up and refocus. So Dana mentioned that in October, I told her that I was not doing this anymore. And what I said to her really was, I need to take a break, and I need to step back, and I don't know if I'm coming back. And I did. And she said to me, this is a business that you can do that. You can do whatever you need to do. Focus on you. Focus on your journey. And come back and do whatever it is when you're ready. And so I did. And now when I talk to my coaches about the 3 vital behaviors, they're all really about our journey, right? Being a product of the product, that's about you. That has nothing to do with anybody else. That's about working on you. In personal development, yeah, that's going to help you with your Beachbody business. However, it's about you. It's about learning and growing for you, because it's going to help you with your marriage. It's going to help you in any business you go into in your entire life. Like, these are books, these personal development books that are suggested and a part of Beachbody are things that, Fortune 500 companies, CEOs and business leaders and VPs and executives are reading so that they can be better leaders. So this is going to help us regardless. And I remember when I became a coach, I was like, this is going to help me. I know. I just need more suggestions of what to read, because I'm very big into personal development. And then inviting is really just sharing our journey. So it's all about us. This is like a selfish business where we get to help people while being selfish. And if you think about it that way, it makes it a little bit, easier when you're not motivated, when you're thinking you're not able to be enough. And the other personal development bits that I want to talk about are like where I get my personal development from. Like, I love the books and I love, I listen to them on Audible. But podcasts have been big for me because when I'm not feeling it, I don't have time to sit down and read a book. So I go on a podcast and I'll type in motivation, or, I'll look through the list of podcasts. Chalene Johnson's podcast is a big one for me. There's a couple others that I have, but I'll look and see what titles resonate with me. The other day it was the rejection. I posted it, I think on Team Fierce Ambition, right? It was all about rejection. And that's a big part of why people want to throw in the towel. They get a lot of rejection, right? So in this call or in this podcast, I talk about making rejection a part of your vocabulary, really, like getting used to the word no. I mean, they say that, and we've heard that, if you're not getting enough no's, you're not inviting enough or whatever, but it's still hard to hear the word no. Especially when you've been working with someone, you've been talking to them for weeks, they're everything's a gung-ho, and then the money comes up, or you send them something, you send them the enrollment, and they don't do it. I mean, it's really annoying. But it reminded me of something that we did in November. For those of you who are here, we did Go for November. And I remember, Christy, you filled yours out first, and I was like, fuck. I was like, damn it, I got to get this in. And that was really hard for me because I literally almost checked out in October. And I was like, I am not ready to go this hard again and get all these no's. Like, this is awful. But then I realized that it really was just a numbers game. It really was just about the amount of invites you put out and seeing what's going to stick. And that really helped me, again, to not take the no's so personally. And again, it's like every time I look at somebody's name, and it's not that I don't care about the individual, but I'm like, it's just an invite. It's just an invite. It's just an invite. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. So in this rejection podcast that I mentioned, he talks about, I wrote it down, making your business a workout. Make rejection your business dumbbell. Building that muscle by consistently getting the no. So constantly, so looking at these no's, changing your perspective and looking at these no's as a way to build your business dumbbell, like build your muscle. And I really love that because it was like, oh, it's just another workout for me. When I can put it in that term, I can deal with it. So I would say that if you are in that position where you are ready to throw in the towel, make a decision not to make a decision, number one. Number two, those 3 fears that you have, write them down, send them to your coach, send them to your success partner, and give them to either your spouse or a very dear friend outside of the business. And these are the people that you can go to when these fears come up, because they're going to come up continuously. So knowing, like, having someone to say to you, this is just another one of these things coming back up again, and being able to point that out to you, because sometimes our minds can work around it. Our egos can figure out a way to not see the obvious. So, and talking it out for me, and Dana gets this a lot, where I'll just text her rambling stuff, and I'm like, I just need to vent, because once I am able to get it out of this head of mine, whether it be typing, writing, or vocally, I hear myself and I realize how stupid I sound, how irrational I sound. And that's enough for me. Like, that's enough. That's all I need. And my poor husband has had to learn this the hard way. Like, I don't want you to answer me. I don't want you to fix it. I just need you to just listen. because that's enough for me. What was the other one I wanted to talk about? Another way to get that out is to write or journal about your fears. One of the fears of mine, and this is something I'd like to see if anybody else resonates with you, is one of the biggest fears I have is success. So I used to fear success and balance. What the hell am I going to do once I get there? So in my mind, it was all about an uphill battle. And once I get up to the top, I would just allow myself to slide back down just enough. And this is about my weight loss journey as well. I would slide myself down just a little bit because I know I can get to the top, but I just didn't know what I was going to do when I got up there. And the thing is, we can reframe it. So it doesn't have to be a mountain. It can be a lateral line of point A to point B, or a point. There's no end in sight, right? This is a journey, and there's never an end game. In my mind, it was an end game, So having my vision board, you know what? I should show it to you guys because it really has helped me a lot. Having my vision board up there, and it talks about, all the things that I want to achieve, and it keeps me focused. It keeps my head in the game when I'm not motivated. And I look at that because I got to tell you, I've achieved a lot of those things already without even saying, okay, I'm setting out to do this, just by doing that. So anyway, I'm just going to go over my notes to make sure I got everything. Oh, and in the rejection podcast, he talks about our because, and then he refers to that as your why, which why are you coming back to your why? Are you writing this down? Is this just in your head? Have you just said it to somebody? Write it down somewhere you can see it. Why are you embarrassed? It should be written in bold letters, somewhere where you can see it every day. Because it's a powerful driver in our lives, right? And then I think that's it. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I have a beautiful quote. Hang on. Where'd it go? Be curious. So this kind of goes back to experimentation, right? I said to you in the beginning, let's experiment. If I'm ready to give this up and I'm ready to throw in the towel, if I'm ready to let it go, right? If that's where I'm at, why not just do something huge? Take a fucking risk. If it bombs, I'm no worse off than I was, right? And the thing is, that never happens. It never bombs. When you take risks, it always brings you forward, no matter what, whether it's mentally and changing your perspective, or getting you out of your comfort zone, or something happens where all of a sudden someone calls you that out of the blue that you talked to 3 months ago. It always happens. So it says, I have this quote, be curious. Your curiosity is your growth point. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Allison.
You're welcome.
I have a couple things.
Sure.
First, I loved when you talked about patience and the rejection, because I think that's something that is a huge struggle for all of us all the time, no matter how long we've been doing this, that you have to remember to have patience between, like you said, that A to B, because there's a process in there and you have to be patient with it. So I really liked that. The rejection podcast, I would love to listen to that. Can you share that? I don't know if you know the name or if you could share it in our group after. I would really like to listen to that podcast if you know who.
Sure.
You have the link
it's
for
called
it.
Rejection Rocks, but I'll post it, but it's
Okay.
I actually have 2 podcasts that I could suggest. So if you're writing things down,
Yeah.
that are awesome. Both of them I have shared on the Team Fierce Ambition, but they're all Chalene Johnson.
Oh, so the Rejection Rocks is Chalene, but it was, she interviewed someone or?
Yep. She interviewed this guy who wrote a book. And so the podcast itself is called Rejection Rocks. His website is called fearbuster.com.
Oh, I like that.
And basically what he did was he did 100 days of rejection. And this is great. So listen to this. This is really funny. So he went around and made the most ridiculous requests, trying to get as many as a no every single day. He wanted to get rejected every day for 100 days. And the story is that he made these ridiculous, like, just rang some random guy's doorbell and asked if he could play soccer in his backyard. Just waiting, you know what I mean? He went into what is that donut place? Not Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, and asked them if they could make him an Olympic donut. So with the rings and the colors. And he's like, and they gave it to me. Like the manager took me back, like, and took me seriously. And the funny thing is, he's like, these are things that I didn't want a yes for. These are things I was waiting for a rejection for. He walked into a university. He wanted to be able to put on his resume that he taught something. I don't know. And so he went into he prepared, and that was another thing. I prepared, even though I was ready for a rejection, I was prepared for a yes. So he went in there and he asked them if he could teach a class, one class, not like a whole semester, on rejection. And they said yes. So like these ridiculous requests, things that you think are ridiculous and are gonna, nobody's gonna say yes. You never know. And that was his message, that you just never know. Actually, the more ridiculous, the more outlandish the things are, the more likely you'll get a yes. And with that being said, my new coach, Amy, I challenged her. I said she doesn't have the money to pay for the like everybody, can't afford it. Single mom, tight budget. And I said to her, I said, well, why don't you post it and see if you can find anybody to do it with you to cover your costs. She signed up today and already has, or signed up other people underneath her immediately. She got so many responses. So, I mean, it was like, I couldn't believe she did it, number one. Number two, she got a great response. And I'm just saying, like, these are chances that the bigger chances we take, I feel like the bigger we grow and the more we get out of them. Oh, and then the other, this is a really, really good one. This is a good one to get out of your own fucking head. Excuse my language. Get out of your own head.
This is Maureen's call.
Motivation and energy on demand. I know I've shared this one. Pound or hashtag whatever she said.
Yes, I love that call.
It is a great call. It is a great time, like a great way to get out of your head. There's a point in the call where she actually says to you, I'm about to get real. If you're about to curl up in the corner and shake like a baby, you might want to get off this call. And she does. She gives it to you real. And it's like, get out of your shit. It's not cute anymore. And it's like, wow, she's real. It's true. So that is like a saved podcast that I have at all times in case I'm really in a rut.
What was the name of that again?
It's a Chalene Johnson podcast, and the name of the actual podcast itself is called Motivation and Energy on Demand.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, if I don't know how many of you guys listen to podcasts, but even Beachbody, all their Monday morning wake-up calls are on podcasts. Podcasts are great if you have an iPhone because you can download them at home and then you can listen to them without using your data. And Chalene has 2 channels. She has Build Your Tribe and she has the Chalene Show, and they're fantastic calls. They're all about a half an hour, and you can download them all to your phone, and then you have them like when you're out even grocery shopping. You pop in your earbuds and you go about your business. So
they even have the
podcasts
Summit.
are great.
Even Summit on there on the National Wake Up Call line.
Podcasts are great. So if you say that you don't have time for personal development, you don't have time to sit and read 10 pages or 10 minutes, do you go grocery shopping for half an hour? Listen to something. It's really easy. That and Audibles. Audibles is great too. That you pay for, but there is your first free book is free. So another good way. Let's see what else. I wrote a few things down. Okay, so my question for you, Allison, is you said if you're ready to throw in the towel, to go out big and take a big risk. What would you say your big risk was that actually made you come back when you were ready to throw in the towel?
I think it was November. It was going for no for me. I think that was my frustration, is really just the rejection, the no. And that was like a huge,
Okay.
When I realized it's not about just the no and taking it so personally, because I was taking it very personally. And realizing that, I wasn't getting where I wanted to be because I wasn't inviting enough. Because I get one no and I would just curl up and want to go home. Like, I wouldn't keep going, and that's the thing. Like, you get so defeated, instead of moving forward, I was allowing that to hold me back, because it was really such just an emotional thing. It really was emotional for me.
Yeah.
Because I just really got so invested in one person.
Yes, and it's easy to do. It's very easy to do, and it's very easy to take all of the rejection personally, when sometimes you have to put up a little bit of a wall and realize this is just a business, and they're not saying no to you personally. They're saying no to the product that you're offering them at that moment. It doesn't mean that they're saying no to you personally, or that they won't be back eventually one day. They're just saying, right now, I don't want to use T25. So,
Allison,
yeah, go.
can I real quick, Allison? It's Trisha. Right now, it seems like you're on fire. Like, every time I turn around, you're there with a new coach or hitting new numbers. What, other than inviting more, what caused this fire in you right now that you're going to go diamond and it's just happening for you right now? Is it inviting more? Like, why are people saying yes now? Is it just numbers? Or do you have a different, are you different inviting? Are you more, is the fire in you what's bringing the people on?
I think for me right now, I'm getting on the phone. Or I'm not rushing to respond to the messages like I used to be. Like, I guess there was I just wanted to make my numbers. I just wanted to get the sale. And now, like, I just don't feel like that anymore. I feel like I want to take my time. I really want to get to know this person. I have actually one person who's interested in buying Pio, and I want her to come over here first, and so we can learn it. We can figure it out together if this is the right fit for her, because I want her to succeed. So I guess it's building quality as opposed to quantity. And I feel like because of that, I'm getting more quantity. That's really what I think it comes back to for me. Yeah, and I think really it's getting on the calls. I feel like I'm on the phone constantly. I'm losing my voice from talking to people, and not allowing them to rush into a sale.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that you're not rushing it. You're not responding necessarily immediately or writing away. Because I know, especially as new coaches, it's so easy to get wrapped up. You hear that ding and you're like, da-da-da-da, and you type back and you're like, you want T25? Okay, here's the link. Da-da-da, this is how you buy it. And a lot of times people don't, then they don't even respond to that link. And then you lost them and you never hear from them again. So I think what Allison is doing is spot on, and it's perfect. She's really, even though they say they want T25, you might know a little bit better that maybe that's not right for them and they only want it because they saw the infomercial. So really getting to know the people and getting to know about their life, getting to know their nutrition, getting to know their family, their kids, what's really going to work for them, which is what Allison's doing, is I think what is really working for her. It's just she's building relationships as opposed to just trying to grab a quick sale. She's looking at it, people, not numbers.
That's
Right.
totally true, Dana. Like, that's what I've been doing with my leads even. And it changes everything. If you get on the phone with them, it changes everything.
It's so interesting. And, you know, I was saying, I think it might have been to Dana, I was saying, for the first time I actually, and again, it was because of this Rejection Rocks podcast, where he was saying that if you're doing it the right way, right, where you are developing this relationship and they still say no, and that's going to happen, you know, being able to ask why, getting that feedback, not because you want them to justify their response, but just to get the feedback. And I feel like I've been able to do that lately. And I got one woman who her response was, I'm in a place where I feel motivated. I'm eating right. And while I think T25 would be great, I just don't want to spend the money when I feel like I can do it on my own. I lost 30 pounds and I've kept it off. And I'm like, that's totally justifiable. You know, I get that. And then I responded with, you know, hey, you think you might want to help somebody else sometime? And she was like, wow, I never thought about that. And, you know, I'll definitely think about it and get back to you. Or, you know, and I feel like now I've just planted a seed.
A coaching seed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that question of why, do you mind if I ask why? And then I'm very appreciative. Like, thank you so much for responding, because they don't have to, you know? So thank you for responding to me, because that means a lot to me and I appreciate it. And I feel like people really feel good when you say that, right? Of course. Who's not going to feel good? So I don't know. Just all of these little pieces of information, all these little things, I'm kind of just putting it all together. It's going in the toolbox. It's going in the toolbox. And I'm going to pull it out when I need it. And that's really what it comes down to. Did I answer your question, Trish?
Yes, and I'm so glad you didn't throw it in, because you're definitely add value to your team and to me. So I'm so glad that you didn't, and you're here and sharing this with the next round of coaches that you bring on. So well done. I'm very glad. And your hair is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
So, anyway, well done. Yes, you answered, because it seems like you're like hot right now. Like, we want a little of that. Like, we want to know what you do. So the calling, I've never done. Part of my fear, I've never done. I hide behind the words, and I just have never called someone.
Oh, but Trisha, you talk. That's your thing.
Yeah, Trisha, you should get on the phone. I agree with Christy. You speak. When you speak, I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Never have done it.
That's your thing, Trisha.
Yeah. Well, let's start doing it.
I love people. I love talking. Obviously, but I've never done that. Probably just my insecurities, and again, afraid of no to the face or to the ear. So
do it this week.
Okay, then that's your challenge. That's your call to action. Do it this week, because I have to say, my fear. I was same fears of not getting on the phone, but that's been my new thing. I get on the phone. If we chit chat back more than 2 times, okay, when can you hop on the phone? Give me a date and a time. And I've been getting on the phone. And once you're on the phone, people don't say, if they're willing to get on the phone, they're probably not going to say no.
It totally scares me. I don't know why, because I have confidence in product and sharing and what I do. I just don't know why.
And that being said too, like, getting together with them, go for a walk. For me, I also think that my yoga room is kind of like, I'm the real, like, I'm serious. This is my life, not just just a game I'm playing. Like, this is my life. Trisha. And when people come and see this, I feel like that really, like, you can come here anytime.
That wouldn't bother me, to do a workout with someone. Absolutely, I've done that. But to actually, I don't know why
Trisha, what it is, like before Beachbody, I had serious social anxiety. Like I'm an actress, but if I had to talk like as myself in front of people, would flip out. And as an actor, what you're doing is you've got a goal in mind, like whether it's on stage with somebody, so you're not concentrating on yourself. What you're doing when you're talking to people is concentrating on yourself. Concentrate on them. Like what can you learn about them? How can you help them? How can you invest in them? How can you make them feel special? And then you're not going to think about yourself.
Great. Yes. I love that.
So
I
those
like that too.
fears, I really think that writing those fears and like give them to Dana. Give your fears to Dana.
I wrote them. I will.
You know what I'm saying? And let her call you out on them. And Steve and, maybe someone outside of the business.
No, it's logistics. Hey, listen, let me call you when, like, literally set up a time. Like, I know that's silly. Like an appointment, like a business appointment. How about we set up?
I would say when you have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you start with them rather than what you have to offer, correct? Just like I would in a message.
Yeah, I asked, how are they doing? What's going on?
It works.
How are their kids? And then after about 5 minutes, we'll start talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chit chat.
Usually I'll say, so talk to me, tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what I do in a message. Just is okay. Yeah.
It's just you just have to be you, Trisha. That's it. Forget about the sale.
Yeah.
Just talk to them.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions for Allison?
I would like to say a couple of things. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Who's this? Oh, okay.
Maureen.
Just wanted to make sure you can hear me. It's Maureen. So I had the pleasure of meeting you in Pittsburgh, which was really phenomenal. And there was just something about you when you were talking then, when we met. We sat next to each other during that training on Saturday. And I thought, wow, this girl is really special. And I think part of what it was, like, and maybe this is going to sound cheesy, but I really don't give a fuck. But like, I just felt like this, like, sort of soul kind of connection with you, just because, like, I felt like your soul literally spoke to mine, and like the things that you said was about connecting with people and being real, and like that's how you were with me, like straight up from the moment we met, real and genuine. And I think, sometimes I even forget to be like that with people, because there's that piece of, hitting Success Club and getting those numbers and building your business up. The mini freak out that I had about that change in the change in Success Club and the leads and that. And then Dana said something to me, and then even just now, you reinforcing it, is about building those relationships, that it's not about, our business has never been about leads. Leads are just a bonus. It's about building those relationships with people. And I spent a lot of time doing that in the beginning, and most of them were no's. But they all came back. And I think why they came back is because I did that. I would say 80% of the people that I did what you're saying that you did, 90% of my people are not local, for whatever reason. I'm really trying to build a local base I don't have. I would totally hang out with somebody. I don't know why they don't want to hang out with me, but
I'll hang out with you.
But I just feel like you're giving that reminder that it's okay to take that time and do that. Like, I spent a lot of time in the beginning doing that and then kind of got away from it. And this year I've spent a lot of time doing that with my team, and I need to remember to do that with my potential customers and potential coaches. So I just love you. I think you're friggin' awesome, and I appreciate
love you too.
doing this call and reminding me and anybody else that's listening about getting to the core of that stuff. And I think we forget sometimes. So Thank you.
Thanks, Maureen.
Anyone else have anything they want to ask Allison about?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Allison, I'm glad you stayed because I've been following you since I became a coach, and I love your posts.
Oh, thank you.
I think one of my fears is I work a full-time job, a lot of hours, and I see what Trish does for the team that I'm on, and I'm afraid that I'm going to get to a point where I can't do both, but I'm not making enough at Beachbody to quit my full-time job. So I think I hold myself back because I'm going to hit overload at some point and not know what to do. Suggestions? Management? I mean, you're running
It's the
more than
same. It's the fear of success that you're not sure what to do with it when you get there. And somebody's phone. Can you mute yourself? Hello. Okay.
I just muted Karen. I think it was Karen. So if you need to talk again, Karen, you'll have to unmute yourself.
So again, it comes back to fear. False evidence appearing real. You're afraid to reach success because you don't know if you're going to be able to sustain it. The sustainability of that success. Yes. Because I fear that too. Like I am on the phone all day, right? And I'm like, because I follow up with customers I haven't heard from for a while. You know, I'm constantly trying to reach out. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do when I have 10 more? How am I going to follow? But I can't. You can't. It's projection. And that's our ego. It's all ego. Let it go. Because this is not about ego. Even though it's about ourselves, but it's not. It's not. You got to go back to your why, because your why isn't about ego. What I mean by ego is living in the past or the future. It cannot exist in the present. Come back to the present moment. What is your why today? And stay there.
And Allison too, if I can add, the beauty of the group, the beauty of your upline, the beauty of the team is we'll take care of you until you are ready to. I mean, I would never. I've said this to Andrea Duran a million times. You don't have to leave me. I'll take care of. I love what I do. I have the time. I will care for you. You're not my personally sponsored coach, yet you're here every week. I would care for you like you are, and you're downline too. And I think that I've learned that because that's just, if I was in that situation, I would want somebody to do the same for me. So I would never tell you to go on your own. Stay with me until you make it big enough, and then you quit your job and you take your team. But I'm not kidding you. Let's grow our team within us. Bring your people in, and when it happens that you can do what you want to do because your why is huge, stay with me. I will not take care of you.
Yeah, I was going to say what Tricia said. The beauty of this business is we're lucky enough to be on, to have these amazing teams, and we all help each other and we're all there for each other. So as long as you're constantly and always being an active participant in the Team Live Fearless page, then there's no reason why your whole team can't be in there.
100%. And when you
that team page.
Yeah. And there's so many groups out there because I'm still learning. I don't know everything. There's so many other groups, support group, like Diamond group, Dynasty groups. Am I saying that right? You know what I mean. And when you hit Diamond, like they take care of you at a bigger level. So if I can't give you the answers, there's somebody else that can, or support. And I mean, I think Dana, she's a full-time mother of triplets. Don't leave me. Get to Diamond. I'm rambling. Okay. You know what I mean. I will not throw you to the wolves.
All right. You want to do one more question if someone else has a question? Do one more quick one before we call it a night.
Okay.
All right. Now someone has to ask one. No, we're going to hear crickets. All right, then.
Guys.
Thank you so much, Allison. That was a really good call. It really was. I think it spoke to a lot of people. And I'm also glad you stuck around. Very glad.
Thank you. I am too. I'm totally pumped for Cancun also.
Oh yeah, that was great.
All right, ladies. Thank you. And Steven. Thank you for all
Thank
getting on the
you.
call.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Allison. Bye, girl.